Alright guys, so welcome to my kitchen. This is Carp Fever, and today I don't really have a carp fishing video for you guys. I'm basically just going to be showing you guys a little recipe that I have with how to make some banana boilies the way I like to do it, and hopefully you guys could use them in your guys' fishing as well, and also save you some money on some boilies. If you're a big boilie user like I am during the summertime, then I think this recipe and this way of making them will save you lots and lots of money, and have a go. Okay, so we'll be starting off with some of the things that I use. Alright, so starting off with bread, I have this really cheap bread that's only like $2, and you can buy them at the store. As you guys can see, these, if I just take one piece out of this bread, out of the bag, you guys can see these breads actually have little pieces of seeds on them, which I absolutely love. I think it really gives the boilies that crunchy taste to them and that crunchy look. And as you guys can see, the brand is from Stater Brothers. It's called Golden Sesame Premium Old-Fashioned Hamburger Buns. So that's the first ingredient. The second ingredient is some white sugar. You guys should all probably have this in your house. The second ingredient is some black pepper, which you guys probably have in your house as well. And then we're going to be using pretty much we are going to be using 3 eggs that you probably have in your house as well. And then, as I said, I am using banana boilies, or I'm making banana boilies. So this is banana syrup. You can buy this like basically on any of your local stores, the food market and stuff. I personally didn't buy this from the store. I actually took this from my job, and it's quite concentrated. So if you really take a smell at this, it's very, very strong. But you can still buy it at the stores. It's just banana syrup. And then I also have some food coloring, which is yellow. I know it looks kind of red, but in reality it's yellow food coloring. You would also need a spoon and a fork. One of these bowls to put in all your ingredients and mix them up, and then a bucket as well. And then to crush up all your bread and stuff to make it like a very nice fine powder, you can do it 2 ways. You can either do it with like a crusher, as you guys know, like a quarter crusher, or just this old-fashioned crusher that I have, or also with a blender. It really all depends what you want to do. I personally would want to do it with a blender just to make things quicker for myself. But if you're on the bank trying to do boilies or whatever, then this is always the next option. But let's get started. So now what I'm going to do is blend all of these breads into the blender. And once I'm done with that, I will show you guys how they look, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so I basically blended all the 8 slices of bread. As you guys can see, this bread is quite yellow, and that's the reason I really like it, because the carp will, it's just a visual attraction basically. The carp will see it like nothing. And then also because it's quite moist as well. As you guys can see, even with the bread itself, if I push it together, it basically binds like in a nice ball. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is add some of the ingredients in here that we have right here on the counter. Something I also forgot to mention to you guys is that you also need some some maize flour. I forgot to tell you guys that in the beginning of the video, but you also need that as one of your ingredients, and it's quite important too, so don't forget to use it as well. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be adding is some sugar. Just some white old plain sugar from your kitchen, and I always like to add about, I'd say like 2.5 big spoons of sugar, and then just simply mix it all in there. And what the sugar does, it gives it like a quite nice sweet type of taste to the bread, which the carb absolutely loves sweet stuff. So sugar, that's why I usually like to use it. And also because if you use like honey or something else like that, it makes the bake too sticky, and when you're rolling it, it's not fun. So sugar always gives it that really nice natural taste of sweetness. Alright, so the next thing you need is some black ground pepper. There's really not much measurements to this. Just put in as much as you really think is enough for the amount of bread that you're making. As I said, I did use 8 slices, so this is how much I'm going to be using, as much as I probably think. Basically just use it all because that's probably enough anyway. Okay, so just simply stir it well, and you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of little black little dots, and you know, that's basically the ground pepper in there. So then mix that very well, like that. Okay. So now what you want to do is get some of that maize flour that I told you guys about, and put about 2 tablespoons of that. Well, you can't really call these tablespoons, these are actually like huge little spoons, so just put 2 big spoons like the size of this. So you put those in there, and what that does is that when you're basically making your boilies, it's going to help it bind even much better. So it's very important to use that, okay, so don't forget. So just mix it all very, very well. Just like that. And if you want a even better mix, you have a lid on your little bucket or whatever. You could even give that like a nice twist. Just shake and stuff, and that just helps it mix it better. I personally made this bucket for myself. If you guys are wondering like where I got this like little logo looking thing from, this bucket was actually from my job, and then I bought this sticker online, and I was like, oh well, it's black, and you know, I wanted a little bucket, so I basically just put that sticker on there, and then I just put my little name, Carb Fever, from there, from a little machine that I have that makes stickers. So yeah, just so in case you guys are wondering, it's very, very simple. Alright, so after that, we're going to proceed to basically the next step, and which is with the eggs and stuff. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so basically we're already done with our dry ingredients, which is the bread. Now we're going to go over to our wet ingredients. As I said, we are using 3 eggs for this. So just simply crack 3 eggs inside your bowl. I personally like to use this type of bowl because it has that like effect that you can basically whip it very well when you're whipping your eggs inside. You know, not something where it's too deep, because you want to be able to mix the eggs and all the ingredients that you're using for your eggs very well. So a bowl like this is probably the best option you have. So just 3 eggs inside there. And then get your flavor, which is the banana flavor. And I personally just like to add like 5 tablespoons of that. It is very concentrated, and I think 5 tablespoons is just enough. So you add that in there. And then for the food coloring, you just kind of measure it out how much you really think it is. I like to have my baits quite bright, not too bright, but just enough. So just mix all that up in there. And something I like to do, which I also didn't mention on this video, is just grab some oil. And what that does is actually helps bind the all the dry ingredients even better. So just some plain oil, just a little bit. You don't really need too much of it. You could even add that as well. And also what that does is, since there's oils in your bait, all the ingredients that you put in there, it's basically going to draw the fish really close to your area, because there's going to be a lot of oils coming out from your boilies and stuff. So just give that a good whip until you kind of have that consistency where it doesn't really like, it's not too like too slimy and too just where it's kind of like a watery consistency. It's just basically what you really want. So just stir and stir until you get that effect. Just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so as you guys can see, that's basically perfect already. You guys can see it's not too slimy, it's actually kind of watery, and that's what you kind of want. Alright, so now proceeding to the next step, it's very, very simple. I know a lot of videos on YouTube, they tell you to put your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients, but I personally don't like to do that, because what if you didn't actually make enough bread or enough dry ingredients to suit for the wet ingredients, you know? Which is kind of, you know, not really the right way to, I personally think, to not do it. So as I said, this bread is quite soggy already, so what I personally like to do is put the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, so that way I just add little by little, and hopefully have a pretty good like pasty mix. Alright, so now you actually need like a bucket and stuff. So if you need if you have like a dish or something that's quite deep, then you can use that for even better results. So just simply pour some in there as well, like just little by little. Don't put all of it, because then you can really mess up your whole bait and your whole recipe and whatever. So just slowly add it. A little bit more. Like I said, don't add too much either. Just slowly add it. And you can actually feel it with the spoon that it's really starting to bind together. And if it gets too hard, because it really starts to bind really well, just put your hand in there and start mixing all those ingredients, and just really make like a really nice paste. As you guys can see, it's kind of turning like this really nice orangey color. There's still a lot of white pieces, a lot of yellow pieces, but you just add a little bit more, because the bread is really going to suck up a lot of that liquid, and it's going to dry out your bait. You're going to probably think, oh, it's perfect, but over time, while you're making your actual boilies, you're going to start noticing that the paste is quite drying, and you're probably thinking, well, in the beginning it was, well, I don't know why it's not better, but that's why, if you're really wondering, because this bread does absorb all those wet ingredients quite fast. So just simply keep mixing that with your hand, and then I'll be right back with you guys until I have that perfect consistency, and then I'll show you guys the paste. Alright guys, so I have this really nice fine paste that I finished making. As you guys can see, it doesn't stick to my hands at all, and that oil, that's what it does. It kind of helps it bind better so it doesn't stick to your hands. But as you guys can see, it has a very nice like orangey color to it. Even though I did use the food color that was yellow, it has like an orangey effect to it. because the bread also has like a yellow effect, so I guess it kind of makes it look kind of orange, but it's fine. It's absolutely how you want it to look. As you guys can see, it doesn't stick to my hands, as I said. So now all I'm really going to do now is, if you have a boilie roller, then you're very lucky. If you have a sausage gun, then you're even more lucky. But for me, I don't have none of those. I am going to buy one shortly. But if you don't, then you're going to have to start rolling them by hand. And as you guys can see, if I start rolling them, look at that. That's an absolutely perfect looking boilie already. So that'll be like probably my first one. And if you do have one, then you know it's gonna be way quicker for you. But personally, for me, I don't have one, as I said. So I'm gonna have to roll this whole entire dough bait with by hand. And something you can also do with this is you can save like a little chunk of it. And if you like to freeline like during the mornings or whatever, this paste itself is absolutely great for that. And also you can also mold some of this onto your leads, and what that does, it gives like the fish some free offerings. If you use like flat pair leads or inline leads, you know, just mold a little bit of this stuff on there. Don't push it too hard onto the lead because you don't want it to stick too dramatically, but you can just put it in there and then just bind it just quite slowly, so and then that's gonna start breaking down underneath the water. Okay, so I'm gonna start rolling some of these, and hopefully we'll go from there. And something you got to keep in mind, as I said in the middle of the video, is that this stuff is still, the bread is actually still absorbing a lot of the wet ingredients. So if you start seeing that the bread is too dry to roll, or the dough, don't add more of your wet ingredients. All you really have to do is just grab some water, just turn on the faucet, grab some water, wet your hands. As you guys can see, my hands are quite wet, and then just go over it with and then just grab your little dough, and it's gonna be really very even better, because if you grab some of that, it's too eggy. It's gonna taste like so much egg. It's gonna attract the catfish, and you don't want to attract the catfish. You want to attract the carp. So let's get these rolled up, and I'll show you guys once I'm done. Alright guys, so finally I'm done rolling all the bait. It took me probably around 20 to 25 minutes. I actually made quite a lot. I was really surprised how much really came out from that dough. As you guys can see, it's quite a lot of bait in there. Probably like 100 and something in there, or probably like around 100 boilies in there. There's probably some 12, 18 and 20, 18, 15, and also probably some big 20s mil boilies in there as well, as you guys can see. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to simply put these baits into the boiling water that I already have set up right now, which I'll show you guys. Don't mind the very messy kitchen. It hasn't been cleaned, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to simply just pour all those boilies in there. Just be careful to not splash that water on you, because that thing is extremely hot. I have it on full speed, and yeah, you don't really want to burn yourself with hot water. Alright, so I'm gonna simply try to put the rest of the bait in there because I'm holding my camera, and I don't really want to take the chance of me actually getting burnt. So I'm gonna put the rest of the bait in there, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so finally the baits are pretty much ready. There's a lot of them floating on top of the water. Let me just show you guys, as hopefully you guys can see that. They're pretty much all floating, so that's kind of how you know they're ready. So just be very careful when you're pouring the water out to drain them, because this thing is extremely hot. Just pour them in there, and give them a good shake, and just leave them there for probably, like, I'd say a minute and a half or so, and hopefully it kind of just drains as much water as possible, and then just let them cool off for a little bit, and then we'll proceed to the very next step. Alright guys, so now the very last step is to simply take them outside and let them air dry. If you guys don't really have like a special air dry rack or whatever, what I like to do is just grab like a little blanket or whatever, or a towel, and then just simply put all my boilies on there. Something to take mind is that don't leave them in the sun. Just leave them like underneath a tree or something, because if you leave them in the sun, then they're gonna crack really really bad, and you don't want that. Once these are done air drying, they're gonna look absolutely fabulous. Right now they're just a little sticky, but once they're done air drying, they're gonna look absolutely great. So let them air dry for probably 4 hours or so, and then once these are done air drying, I'll show you guys how they look, and we'll proceed to the pretty much like the very final step. But if you want to just use them like this, then you can go ahead, but I just like to boost them up with a little bit of flavoring. And yeah, once these are done air drying, I'll let you guys see them. Okay, so this is basically the finished the boilies. Basically I let them dry for about 4 hours. They're still a little moist and I can still feel them. They're not very hard, they're quite soft. But I just want to quickly show you guys how much bait is in there. Look at all that. Absolutely just hand rolled boilies with my little recipe that I gave you guys. I can assure you guys that you guys will catch so much carp with these. Just give them a try, you know, and hopefully when you go fishing you guys catch some big fish, because I've had so much confidence in this bait for quite some time already. And just want to quickly show you guys this other one that I did before. I let this one pretty much just dry outside for probably 3 days or so, and as you guys can hear the sound of it, they're pretty dry. You can still pretty much pierce them with a needle. They're not very extremely hard rock dry. But something else you guys can do with this is, if you're a big spot, like you like to spot a lot and stuff, like with particles like hemp seeds and maize and all those other things, this amount of bait, you can also grab some more bread and crush it and just throw it in there. And you can also add like flavorings, like even banana flavoring, add some cordigou, you know, just add whatever you guys really want. You could add some maize, some crushed up boilies, some pellets, some hemp seeds, you know. You can add so much stuff to make your own like spot mix. Or even if you want to just throw some of these in an area, probably scatter like 20-25 baits around where we're fishing, and absolutely great. But yeah, this was basically the final look of the way the boilies pretty much look. And I'm gonna tell you, these are gonna be an absolute winner, and when you guys go fishing, if you guys give them a try. I just want to quickly say thank you for watching this video. It absolutely, hopefully it helped you guys. You know, you guys can save up a lot of money instead of having to, you know, buy your own boilies and stuff. You pretty much make your own. So it's, you know, it's even more pleasing to know that you caught a carp on your own homemade boilies. So I just want to say thank you once more, and if you guys really enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. It would really help me out a lot to make more videos for you guys, and you know, to keep going. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. It would also help me out a lot. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway once I reach 100 subscribers. I kind of just started YouTubing and I really enjoy it, so once I hit 100 subscribers, I'm gonna be doing a special giveaway, and you know, tight lines, and hopefully you can be that very lucky winner.